And we are recording. We are live. Rather, we are live. It's a bit weird. Let me wait a few minutes so that the connection stabilizes. Okay, I think it's okay. When more people enter the chat room, I will ask for a sound test. This channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment. And make sure that you use my code for a special discount. Okay, while we wait, mm, I guess I'll talk a bit about what is going on here for those that are watching the video at home. This is going to be an update video. I'm going to reveal some important information related a bit to the content, not so much, more than anything related to my profession as a game master. And I am also going to talk about something very important that only tabletop role playing games can accomplish. Now, I think someone was about to join pretty soon. Let me verify that to get into Discord over here. Let's see. Well, for those of you that are watching this update, you can of course skip ahead for when people actually arrive to the live stream, that it's not too boring. Right now, I am in with someone. We're here. Just letting him know that we have started. That should do it. Because this video was planned with one of my channel members, Beyond Fantasy. He's going to benefit quite a bit. I noticed that there is some sort of green line in the lower. This is the first time that I am using my release action to make a live stream. Well, we will have to ignore that green line in the lower part of the screen. Oh, see how I can remove it later on, because I wasn't too satisfied with the recording made by directly from YouTube. But well, maybe one of these days I will be able to fix this green line. Weird that it doesn't appear, it doesn't show when I am playing video games. Hmm. Well, in case nobody shows up, because this is somewhat of a guerrilla live stream, I just gave them like 30 minutes in advance, like, hey, I'm going to do a live stream pretty soon. So there is a chance that no one is going to come to the chat room. Let's see. So first, the big update concerning my career, my profession as a professional game master. I am currently running a game for a single group here in Mexico. As I've been Spanish, but I've noticed that with my current lifestyle, I am just too busy to have any other games going. So I'm going to retire from running games in English as a professional game master, at least for a big chunk of time, for the time being. Who knows in the future, but right now, for the several months, perhaps a year or two, I won't be running professional games in English because I am focusing on my group in Spanish and I don't have time to have a second group. That doesn't mean that there aren't going to be actual plays, actual tabletop RPG actual plays in my channel. There are going to be, but they are going to be solo tutorials in the style of my tutorials for solo role playing games in that you can see in at the front of my channel. Yes, I definitely now that I am taking a closer look. I definitely need to. Well, the lighting is so-so, but I think that there could be some ways of modifying the lighting as well, improving it. It's because of Mirili's action. It has some sort of settings that lower the light because right now I have a pretty potent light right to my side, just in front of me to my right, and it's barely giving all of the light it could have been giving. So I definitely need to check that out as well as the green line in the lower part. But as I was saying, I am going to stop promoting myself as a professional game master because I'm sticking to my group here in Mexico. But my actual plays will continue every now and then as solo tutorials, also perhaps as a co-op tutorial with friends, with channel members. Every now and then, simple things, simple affairs using the perhaps rules light systems and whatnot, just to provide entertainment, give examples of roleplay, and so forth. Hmm. Now, I will start talking about the most important thing in tabletop RPGs that no other media can accomplish. In tabletop RPGs, there are many misconceptions when it comes to role playing. Sometimes they confuse them, be it intentionally or because of ignorance, with acting and voice acting. But it's not the same thing. We must start from the premise that never, actors never describe their actions in movies, in theatrical plays. When you see this action film and the character is fighting against the bad guys or whatever, he's not describing. Now I am crouching and then I am going to block and I'm going to parry and I pull out my gun and I aim it at the head of my enemy and I shoot. They never do that. They act. They take action, and even in a meta way. For example, Sherlock Holmes in the Sherlock Holmes movies, where Robert Downey Jr. is the protagonist. There are some moments where he's actually planning ahead his actions, like almost just like planning ahead, like a blow to the right side of the torso, um, elbow to the jaw, and describing those moves, right? But he's that is an action by itself. That is not describing your actions. That is actually calculating. The action itself is calculating the actions in battle that you are going to take in the future, and that's so powerful when it comes to roleplay because you are in the present, in the now, and you are able to describe any sort of situation, action, no matter the complexity. I'll give you an example, an excellent example. Entropino, welcome. I'll start again. It wasn't too much. The first thing is that as an update, I am now no longer promoting myself as a professional game master for English games because I am busy with my group here in Mexico in Spanish, and I don't have time to play other games, to run other games. But that doesn't mean that I won't be having actual plays, tabletop RPG actual plays in my channel. They will be solo tutorials or perhaps even co-op or simple sessions that I do perhaps with channel members every now and then. It's not going to be a major focus because right now I have so many things going on with my apart from all the hobby because here when it comes to my channel, my secondary business, I have my video game let's plays, the reviews, and I have plans later on to review manga, perhaps just do some actual plays of board games, war games. So I am going to stop promoting myself as a professional game master in English because it's simply too much. I already have my hands full with my group in Spanish. That's the update. But then moving on to the important tabletop RPG stuff or tips, I was just mentioning that in tabletop RPGs, it is not the same role playing, it's not the same as acting or voice acting because actors do not describe their actions in movies and theatrical plays. They they take action instead of saying, like I said in an action film, I run towards the door, I go through the door, I pull out my gun, I aim the gun at the head of my enemy, I shoot 2 times. They don't do that in movies. It would be ridiculous. They just take action. They act actors take action. And depending on of course, the scenery, the set, it is all happening there through actions, not through description. Very different from tabletop RPGs because we are sitting at a table, and in the table you cannot change the scenery. You cannot suddenly stand up and go to various fantastical locations and swing your sword and pull out your gun. So that's a very important difference. And some people actually feel discouraged. They think that role playing is acting and they don't have acting skills and whatnot. Even shy people, they also feel discouraged from playing tabletop RPGs. But that is a total fallacy. Role playing in tabletop RPGs has nothing to do with acting. You can play an entire session, an entire campaign of a tabletop RPG without acting, just describing your actions. I approach the innkeeper and ask about the prices for the different rooms. You're not acting, you're describing your action. As simple as that. And anyone can roleplay. That's why anyone can roleplay, can play tabletop RPGs, because you don't need to act whatsoever. There is another fallacy when it comes to voice acting. In voice acting, of course, you're going to be speaking as your character, right? But what if you are role playing as a mute character? What if you are role playing as a mute character? And I've seen this fallacy so many times. You don't, people that cannot speak simply won't be able to talk. So you describe what you are communicating perhaps through sign language. I use sign language to communicate, but that is a bad idea. I communicate to the members of the group that there is a treasure hidden in those ruins. You see, another thing, what if you are actually role playing as an alien, a monster that cannot communicate through verbally, but rather communicates through feelings? That's impossible to represent in other media. That they always have to have some character giving exposition. Some perhaps in a movie, you have another character that says an actor. Oh, he communicates through feelings, and then another character. Oh, I feel like he's sending me these feelings of sadness. Another character. Oh, I feel great joy. He's sending me joy. In role playing, there is no such thing. It is handled in such an elegant way by describing. You are role playing as the alien character, right? And you can only communicate through emotions. You could say, I send emotions of happiness to the person in front of me. That's it. Now the person knows that you are happy. If you want to warn them of danger, I send emotions of impending danger if they open that vault. You see? So that's really important in tabletop RPGs. The power of description, of not acting, of not voice acting, because through roleplay you can accomplish many other things that in movies, theater, whatnot, they cannot do so without constant exposition of what the character is doing. So that's a very important thing, and not too many people notice that about tabletop RPGs. You don't need to be an actor, you don't need to be a voice actor. Role playing is describing your actions, as simple as that. Uh, what do you think about this, Entropino? Have you had some similar experiences when it comes to describing your actions? Have you met people that perhaps think that role playing is acting or that you need to be an actor? Also, added to that, some people could also feel intimidated when they want to roleplay as characters with very specialized fields, professional fields. Let me give you a good example. My channel member and friend, Beyond Fantasy, about several months back, I ran a Twilight game, Twilight 2K, you know, the war game from Free League Publishing. Well, war role playing game where it's like the outcome, what would have happened if World War II ended with a different outcome. It's a fictional World War III situation. And in that case, Beyond Fantasy was a bit worried. He was going to roleplay as a mechanic. He doesn't know too much about military vehicles, and he doesn't know about the ranks, the protocols in the military. So he was worried, how can I do this? How can I roleplay as this mechanic, this specialized mechanic in the army? And I told him, just describe your actions. Describe your actions. You don't need to get too technical. I get into the vehicle and repair it. Without getting too technical, I get into the vehicle and repair it. You can do this, you can apply this to any sort of thing. If you're going to tinker around with alien machinery, you don't need to describe how you are doing all of those very precise, minute maneuvers, details, manipulation of the circuitry, etc. You only need to describe. I approach the alien control panel and use all of my computer skills in order to decipher the code. So that way you can handle all of those things quite professionally, incredibly so. That is within the professions within the fictional setting. So that's what this video is all about, getting people aware that you don't need to be an actor or a voice actor in order to roleplay. You can just describe your actions, and everything is within the grasp of your hands. When we played that Twilight session, Beyond Fantasy only gave descriptions of what his character was doing, and everything was accomplished without needing technical expertise. If you want your character, if your character approaches, because this is not about wanting to do something, it's about doing things in the present. If your character is going to interact with a member in the military, perhaps of a higher rank, you don't need to know the proper protocols or procedures. I approach the man in front of me and engage in military jargon or protocol to obtain information about the whereabouts of the hidden cache. As simple as that. So yes, that's basically it. And providing that information through the description of your action. Now let's wait for a few moments in case somebody else logs in. If not, I think I will finish the stream since I already communicated the update, the RPG information. So for those of you that are watching this video later on, you can always describe your actions to accomplish anything in tabletop RPGs. You don't need specialized knowledge. You don't need to be an actor. You don't need to be a voice actor. There is also an error. Some people, another fallacy, they tell you role playing is getting thinking about your character. I think no, role playing is thinking as your character. It is one thing to think about as your character, and it's another thing entirely to take action as your character. You can think everything that you want, and if you never take action in the game, nothing happens. You don't interact with the game world. You are stuck in that thought process without taking action. That thought process ends up, your thoughts never manifest in the game world, in the fiction. As simple as that. Yeah, so I see that we have two people. If you want to ask some questions or something about this topic, or if you want to share your experiences, let me know because I am about to end this stream unless there are some thoughts. Oh, Entropino has something to say. Voice acting, I think, can be useful to communicate information. I play a bread bioweapon in a game It's a text game, and I have him speak in bold and capitalized letters. Yes, definitely. But that's the thing. Voice acting is good, is useful, but it is not role playing because you can't play tabletop RPGs without voice acting. So voice acting is actually it's a tool that you can employ when role playing in tabletop RPGs. You can use that tool just like acting, and you can see me in my actual place. I'm constantly taking those voices, changing them accordingly. Let me see. Entropino says, "Let me get to live instead. Although I do like listening about Twilight. To live. Hey, yeah, well, and I'm constantly using those character voices in my actual plays. Sometimes I become very expressive, but that is apart from roleplay. You can always describe your actions, describe what your character says. Like I said, if you want, you can approach the innkeeper and say, "Excuse me, good man, can you inform us about the prices of your fine rooms?" Or I approach the innkeeper and ask about the prices of the rooms. Very easy. And that way, a lot of people that usually feel discouraged about role playing because they think they are not capable, they don't have the skill set to act or do funny voices, voice acting, they can enjoy role play like that. Okay, you are live. Okay, so yes, Entropino, that's great that you use voice acting, but I just wanted to communicate with the video that that is not necessary for roleplay. You can describe what your character says, or you can act the voice of your character if you like it like that. But just like any other tool, you bring it to the table to roleplay, but it is not an essential part of roleplay. Do you have any thoughts on this, Entropino? And for anyone else who oh, let's see. But I do not know much about the shy potential people to play with. Yes, it's that's the thing. 'Cause some people um, that are too shy may feel discouraged, but as long as they just describe their actions, they don't need to feel any sort of pressure to or do the voice acting according to the character. Because of the internet, you find people who already know the hobby. I think you find more people that don't know about the hobby than people that know the hobby. You find so many of the um. Can my character can my character do I want I want my character to they are doing something else. They're having a conversation about what they want their characters to do, and they miss out all of that magic because of the internet. And because all of that magic, they miss out on getting into that role play into the world. Instead of having a conversation, instead of telling a story, you can actually describe your actions. But it's great. Perhaps Entropino, you have found some people that already are familiar with this. That sounds good. Well, this was somewhat of a short live stream. I'm going to end it for today. Thank you, Entropino, for stopping by, and thanks to everyone who watches this video. This has been Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. Now I'm going to wait a little bit to end the stream because I need the connection to stabilize. Once again, thank you, Entropino, and to everyone else. See you later.